everybody, Lauren here from Airguns of Arizona, and today we're going to be taking a look at a really awesome and outrageous and a super cool decked out Delta Wolf. Now, I went around the shop and I picked out items that I thought would just make this the most outrageously cool, crazy, accessorized Delta Wolf that you physically can build right now. So I'm going to be diving into 22 products on here, namely a butt pad, a cheek piece, a magazine, a bag rider, a grip, a trigger guard, an upgraded bottle, an ARCA Rail, an ARCA Rail backbone, a bag, a bipod, a moderator, a scope, scope caps, a front sunshade, a Coldtech cheat sheet, a parallax spinner, some scope mounts, a magnification spinner, a rear scope cover, 20 MOA rail, as well as a level on here. So there's a lot to unpack here. Let's jump right into it, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about these accessories, about how they'll be used in a competition or what benefit they are to you, and why I like them. So let's start off up here with the scope. First of all, this is a Collis 525 first focal plane scope. It's a 34 mil tube scope, and I use this in competition because it's a very solid optic. It is optically sound, it tracks correctly, it's got a ton of MOA built into it. I personally use MOA, so this is an MOA scope model, and I use this in NRL 22 and PRS, as well as speed silhouette. So I do like this scope for that reason. It's a very, very good scope and really high quality glass. Well, on top of the scope, I've added some extra things. Firstly, I added a sunshade here. The sunshade helps extend this tube just a little bit further out. So all that it does is it eliminates direct sunlight coming into your scope and possibly, widening out your scope or anything like that, helping for sun flare. If you're shooting early in the morning or late in the evenings, typically that becomes a really big issue. So this sunshade helps for that. It does take a little bit of light away, but these Collis scopes are so good that it doesn't really matter and you don't really notice a difference. Together with that, I have these Tenebrix scope covers. Now, these are the Collis flip-up scope covers, but they're made by Tenebrix. They're really nice because they thread into the ends right here. Right here, it clamps down, and you're able to open it up and pop it open all the way so that it doesn't come back. So it's really high quality. These scope covers, I've personally been using them for, I would say, 7 years, and they still clip exactly as they did the day I got them. So they're really high quality, they're really nice, and you're never gonna have to replace one of them. If the spring falls out or something like that, you can always contact them and they'll replace them for you, but it's just really high quality stuff. Going from there, I have this Collis throw lever. This just is on the magnification for if I quickly want to turn my magnification to one side or another. I can do that whilst behind the gun, just easily throw it like that. That way, if I want to look for a target or something like that, it's very easy and I don't have to rotate the gun like that. Same thing up here. This is called a parallax spinner. That is just there so that I can easily change the parallax on my scope. The Collis has the parallax here at the top, so that's just so I can easily change it and not struggle with it. Moving on here, I have the Coldtech cheat sheet. This is a really cool little piece of equipment, especially when you're shooting NRL or even if you're shooting field target or something, because it just takes off with some Velcro like that. This is just a whiteboard erase. So what I do is I write with a whiteboard marker on here or like a grease pen or something like that, and I look at my values on Straylock Pro, write it up here once I know the distances of the targets, and I just put it up here, and it's very easy to see my clicks from this little card right there. So that's all that does. It attaches with a bungee cord, and it's a really cool option. Next up, we're going to the scope rings. Now, scope rings are probably one of the most underrated items in air gunning, I would say. Far too often we just say, just put something on there that's easy and that you have laying around. It doesn't really matter. Well, it does matter. Your quality of your scope ring, your adjustability of your scope ring, and all of those things do actually matter. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of adjustable scope rings because they can shift. You have very small moving parts on those scope rings, and you have a tiny little 2.5 millimeter Allen wrench that's adjusting your entire scope. Now, if you're going from really hot conditions to really cold conditions, and all of the metals are expanding and contracting on your gun, you get what's called a POI shift. Now, if you get that POI shift, it could come from anywhere on the gun. You know, it could come from the scope, from the mounts, from the rail, from the gun. You want to eliminate those variables, and by having solid scope mounts, I eliminate those variables for myself. So these are non-adjustable, but high 34 millimeter sports match scope mounts. They're really high quality and probably the best in the business when it comes to airgun scope mounts, for sure. I like them the most, rather. Moving on from there, I have an ASP rail on here. Now, you may have seen this on the Red Wolf and stuff like that. I personally like this rail a lot because it has 20 MOA built into it. Plus, on the Delta Wolf, it works out really well because I'm able to push my front scope mount this much forward. So if I didn't have this rail and I just had the standard Delta Wolf rail on here, it would be pushed back that much more, and my eye would be a little bit closer to this gun right here. I just prefer this more personally. It's a more traditional and cool feel for me, and easy to feel for me. So I prefer this over the standard Delta Wolf rail. Then this is the Long Range Arms Send It level, currently made by NDT. So they purchased the company Long Range Arms a little bit ago, but this is a really nice level. It's an electronic level. This is called the NV3, and it just tells you your cant of your gun by turning it on. So it's just an electronic level. I like it because you're able to adjust the sensitivity of it. So if you want your gun to be absolutely upright perfectly, you can adjust the sensitivity to be on its most sensitive, or you can have it, you know, least sensitive when it doesn't really matter that much. My scope over my barrel is pretty high, so I do like having it pretty sensitive. Moving on to the rest of the gun, starting at the back here, I have a PRS butt pad. This is the non-monopod version of this butt pad, and I really like it because I'm able to adjust the sides of it. It does give me a little bit more length of pull here, so it's a little bit longer, and I just like the way it shoulders in your shoulder. You know, it's just very comfortable like that. So it's a very comfortable shoulder hold. So I do like that quite a bit. Going from there, I have a PRS adjustable cheek riser on here. The adjustable cheek riser is important for me because I can move my magazine from the left-hand side to the right-hand side and vice versa. It lifts that cheek piece up just a tad, and it also makes it for a more comfortable feel in your shoulder. So if you pick the gun up and you put your face behind it, you're not scrunching your shoulder up too much. It's kind of more in a natural position, and that's a lot easier. So this feels a lot better than having your elbow or your shoulder all the way up like that. So that's why I use an adjustable cheek riser, and then also have higher mounts for that to compensate. Going from there, I have a Midwest Airgun Elite magazine. This is a 25 caliber Delta Wolf, so this magazine holds 29 shots. It's really cool, and you may have seen me use it in the Speed Silhouette Challenge this year. I do really like this because it gives you a high capacity magazine option on a gun like this. You're able to load 29 shots and just pop off shots really quickly. If you have an NRL stage or anything like that, you don't have to worry about a mag change or anything like that. Going from there, this is called the Long Shot Precision Adjustable Bag Rider. Now this bag rider is really nice bag rider. It's used by a lot of high competing air gunners like Claudio Flores, and he introduced me to them originally, but this is really nice. You're able to adjust this bag rider by this small wheel right here for very, very fine adjustments when you're shooting bench rests or anything like that. So this adjustable bag rider is just that nice. You're able to literally see how it goes longer and how it goes shorter very finely. So once you're moving through that target, you can have the most solid bench rest hold there is with this adjustable bag rider. Moving on, we have this Ergo Grip palm shelf grip. This is a really, really nice grip because it has a palm shelf underneath here, and it's something I really like a lot. My field target gun already has that built in, but this just cups your hand really nicely when you shoot like that. So this is very comfortable down here. You have a nice grip over here with this built-out palm. It like sits in the ball of your hands, but it just sits really nice like that and has the perfect hold on that gun and on that trigger for you. So this feels really natural to me personally, and I really like it. It's a good feel, and that's the grip I use. Going on from there, we have this little trigger button. Now, I personally like a triggered button more because I like the way it feels on there. You know, these are electronic guns, and so they're already an electronic feel to them. But having that button there puts my finger at the exact same spot every time. I'm not a little higher up or a little lower down. I'm on the button every single time. So that really gives me a good and crisp feel, and it's just a little trigger shoe from Rowan Engineering. So one of those small little nuances to make your gun your own and add a little bit of a feature there to it. Okay, moving on from there, we have this ARCA Rail, and I guess you can't even see it because there's so much stuff on it, but we have this trigger guard replacing ARCA Rail from PRS. It's clear as day that this is a fantastic option to have on your gun, and I think necessary on every single Delta Wolf out there. This just gives you the opportunity to add so much more accessories to the bottom of your gun right here. You're not putting stress on the bottle or anything like that, and you're just able to have tons of accessories. On this ARCA Rail right now, I have a hand stop, which is really good if you have the gun back here and you have it leaning back. It kind of pushes into that hand stop on a barricade or something like that for NRL. I also have this Coldtech bag on there. So this is the backbone adjustable bag. This backbone is able to move the bag forward and backwards, and you're able to take it off with just the set screw. And I have this Coldtech flat bag on there. This Coldtech flat bag is really nice because it gives that gun a little bit of more support here at the bottom. It does make it very tall up and down here, but that is just really nice on here. If you're going over a barricade again, or if you're on a bucket or something like that, you don't smash up the bottom of your gun, and it's really easy to use there. Then we have an Accutek FC5 G2 bipod. Now this bipod is one of my favorite bipods on the market right now. It has adjustability for panning, for canting, and it's a Picatinny because this front section of this ARCA Rail does have a Picatinny adapter to it. So I have it on Picatinny right now because it's all the way at the end, but this is just a fantastic bipod. The legs can extend so far, which is just crazy, and you just pop them back in like that. You can get replacement feet for them and all sorts of things. So I really like this Accutek bipod. You can change position however you'd like to run it, you know? So I really like that bipod. Going on from there, I have an upgraded 580cc bottle on here. I didn't go for the 700 just for the aesthetics of it. I think this looks so much better than the 700cc bottle in my opinion, and I like this more. So this is a 580cc bottle. Obviously, it just gives you a little bit more shots per fill and has a little bit more onboard air right there. Then locking this all down and ending it off is a 0 DB Magnum moderator. This is the 40mm diameter moderator from 0 DB, the largest size that they make, and just a really cool print on there. So I really love this moderator on the end of this gun. It takes that pop away. It does have an air stripper on the end, so it does take some of that excess air around the pellet away as well, and just ties up this awesome and outrageous decked out Delta Wolf. Well, there you guys have it. That is all in a nutshell. A crazy, outrageous, awesome Delta Wolf that we put together here just kind of for fun and just to see how awesome we can make this gun. So please keep in mind that all of these accessories are available for multiple guns out there. So if you have a different gun and you like one of these small accessories, give us a call and we'll try to help you out and make sure it fits on your gun. Or we'll have a version of it that will fit on your gun exactly. If you think this is a really cool gun and if you do like it, click that like button down below, subscribe to the channel, and be sure to give us a call to ask more questions about this. I'll see you on the next one.